Hi students, welcome back. If you can remember that we were solving the problem of Pablo Company and we have already calculated the accumulated depreciation of machine 1 and machine 2. In this session we will be solving the problem of machine 3. So here certain informations are given and we are supposed to calculate the accumulated depreciation of machine 3 at December 31st, 2010. So let us see what are the informations that are given for machine 3. So it is said that the machine 3 was acquired on 1st of November 2010. The cost was $100,000 and the salvage value was $15,000 and the useful life in years was 6 years. And this machine 3 is depreciated through units of activity method. So we have been given some additional informations here, which says that for the units of activity method, the total machine hours are expected to be 25,000 units. So this is the useful life of the machine, which is expressed in hours. And then some other informations are also given, that is said that actual hours of use in the first 3 years were, so this is the actual hours that the machine was used for the 3 years, which is in 2010 it was 2,000 hours, in 2011 it was 4,500 hours, and in 2012 it was 5,500 hours. So students, I want to draw your attention here because you know this machine was bought on 1st of November 2010 and the accumulated depreciation has been asked for December 31st, 2010. So if it was some other depreciation method, then we should have calculated the depreciation for 2010 for only 2 months, which is November and December, because the machine was bought on November. So we don't need to calculate the depreciation of the time where the machine was not there in the company. So that is the reason why it should have been 2 months for the other two methods. However, since we are now doing the problem for units of activity method, and it is clearly written that the actual hours of use for 2010 was 200 hours, so we don't need to do the fractional year here. So we can straight away use this 2000 units in order to calculate the depreciation. So now let us start the problem. So in case of units of activity method, if you can remember that first we have to determine or calculate the depreciable cost, and for that what we need to do is that we need to first write down the cost of the machine, which is $100,000. Then we need to deduct the salvage value of the machine, which is $15,000. And after deducting the salvage value from the cost of the machine, we have the depreciable cost, and which is 85,000 here. So now, since we will be doing the units of activity method, so we need to find out what is the depreciation cost per unit. And in order to do so, we need the figure of the total machine hours that is expected from machine 3, which is, it is 25,000 here. So we will just write down that $25,000. And in order to get the depreciation cost per unit, we will have to divide the depreciable cost by the useful life or the total machine hour, that is 25,000 here. So we get the depreciation cost per unit as $3.4. So this is the amount of depreciation cost per unit. So now we will go to the depreciation schedule, and as you can see, the schedule has already been formatted. So for 2010, we have been given the units of activity. So for 2010, it is 2000 hours. So we will just write 2000 hours. For 2011, it is 4500 hours. For 2012, it is 5500 hours. And this is all we have to as the units of activity that has been done. So we can only do the calculation till 2012 here. And now we will have to write down the amount of depreciation per unit, which is 3.4, and we will just stretch it till 2012 because we will have to use the same depreciation cost per unit. So for 2010, the annual depreciation expense will be units of activity for that year multiplied by the depreciation cost per unit. So it is 6,800 units. And as you know, that in case of the first year, the accumulated depreciation will be the same as the annual depreciation, as no previous balance is there to add up. Now we will just calculate the book value, which you already know is the cost of the machine minus the year's accumulated depreciation, which is 6,800 here. So we have 93,200 as the book value for 2010. And just for your reference, I have also given an asterisk sign and written down how we have come up with this book value. So this is how we have got it. This is the cost of the machine, and this is the first year's accumulated depreciation, and this is how we got the book value for the first year. So for the second year, which is 2011, we again have to multiply the units of activity for 2011, which is 4,500, multiplied by $3.4. So we have 15,300 for the second year. And in case of the accumulated depreciation, now we have a previous balance. So we will be adding up the previous balance with the annual depreciation of 2011 in order to get the accumulated depreciation for 2011. Now we again try to calculate the book value, and that is the cost minus the accumulated depreciation for 2011. So $77,900 is the book value at the end of year 2011. So next for the year 2012, we again do the same thing. We multiply the units of activity of 2012, which is 5,500, with the depreciation cost per unit, and we have the annual depreciation for 2012 to be 18,700. Now we calculate the accumulated depreciation, which is the previous year's balance plus this year's annual depreciation expense, and we have 40,800 as the accumulated depreciation for 2012. Now, if we calculate the book value, it is the cost minus the accumulated depreciation for 2012. And now we have the book value at the end of 2012 to be 59,200. Even though we have done the maths till 2012, till when the informations are given, but the instruction says that what is the accumulated depreciation at December 31st, 2010. So in that case, our answer should be 6,800. So we should write at the end of December, at December 31st, 2010, for the machine 3, the accumulated depreciation is $6,800. So this is how we're going to do the maths, and I hope you could understand it, because this is a very simple depreciation method where the units of activity will be given to you. You have to just calculate the depreciation cost per unit and then just multiply the units of activity with the depreciation cost per unit in order to get the annual depreciation expense. And the calculation of accumulated depreciation and the book value is the same as we have done before for the other two machines. So I hope students it was easy for you to understand, and hopefully if this kind of maths come in your exams, you will be able to do it correctly. So with this, I end this session. Hope to see you soon in the next session. So thank you, students, for your patience.